Hey guys, Ash Lane here, coming at you today with an ultimate guide to Town Hall 9 Stoned GoHoWi. So what I'm going to do is share a really good, a really strong strategic base and foundation for this strategy. But first, you know what? Let's talk about why Stoned GoHo. Why is it a great strategy to learn, especially for beginners or people who are trying to transition to 3-star attackers? Well, it is an absolute great strategy because you're using 3 golems. You're using 3 golems and you're using some extra wizards. That's going to give you an extra meat shield and also some extra DPS behind that meat shield, not relying so heavily on your hogs. So let's get right into the guide. Stoned GoHo guide for Town Hall 9. Minimum level troops. I prefer Golem level 2, Wizards level 5, Hogs level 5. If they're level 4, you can still give it a shot. Might still work if you're hitting a base with low point defenses. And Earthquake, it can only be level 1, doesn't matter. Royals, I prefer level 10 each. However, if you're hitting a rushed base, you might be able to get away with level 5 plus Archer Queen. I still prefer level 10, which is max for Town Hall 8 on the King. Now, your army is going to be 3 Golems, 10 Wizards, 3 or 4 Giants, depending on how many entry points you choose for your Hogs. We'll get into that on the replays. 20 to 21 Hogs, 4 Earthquake, 2 Heal, and 1 Rage. We'll get into the order of those a little bit more, but just for general purposes, your attack order on 9 out of 10 of these attacks, the strategy, is going to be Golems first, followed by Wizards, followed by your Queen, followed by your Earthquake for the entry point, followed by your King, a few more Wizards, your Rage spell, your Giant, and then the Hogs, and then the heal spells. So that's just a general guideline for if it's your first time maybe trying to pull off one of these attacks, you can go ahead and use it. And let's just hop into the replays here. I'll show you what I'm talking about, why this is such a great strategy for beginners and a great army composition. So the Golems first, Wizards second, Queen third, and then you wait a second. You wait a second to clear up because at this point in the attack, you're trying to make a funnel so that your King, when you drop him, he only has one obvious spot to go, and that is towards the enemy Queen inside the base. Once he's inside the base, you can drop that Rage spell. Once you drop that Rage spell, the troops are going to be able to take down the clan castle and then do some damage and get the attention of all the defenses around the center of the base. The idea here is that you're using your Giants and your kill squad, your first team, including your heroes, to distract all those defenses, and then you start trickling in your Hogs around the map. Now you can see how Jon Snow, he dropped his Giants beforehand. That's why you're bringing the Giants. The Giants will actually attract a lot of attention from all those point damage defensive units, meaning the archer towers and the cannons. Those can do a lot of damage to your Hogs and quickly take them down. If you drop those 1 Giant first, you're actually getting a lot of more bang for your buck in terms of that 5 troop space. Instead of having 1 extra Hog, put down 1 Giant, you're actually going to save more Hogs at the end of the day using this strategy. And obviously at this point, your Queen, your King, still alive, might be low health, but they're still going to do some work in the center of the base while the rest of your Hogs and your Wizards do some cleanup around the perimeter of the base. I always suggest leaving 1 or 2 Wizards for the back end cleanup duty on your attack towards the end of the attack, because even though you have the extra 30 seconds now on these attacks, sometimes time still can be an issue, so you want to make sure. And if you don't want to take 10 Wizards, some people might choose to take only 9 Wizards and then bring maybe 2 Archers and 2 Goblins in place of that last Wizard, just to make cleanup a little bit more timely and easy. Now on this next attack, it's going to be Micah 2. He's going to attack another good anti-3 base. This strategy works against all kinds of bases. I'm showing you anti-3 designs because they're a little bit more challenging, but certainly if you're attacking just regular trophy bases with a town hall in the center defensively, this strategy still works fine. So a nice spread on the golems there. You can see Micah's going to do something a little bit different. There's a little bit of nuance in all these attacks. He's going to trickle in that last golem a little bit late. So at this point, it's the same order though, right? So he drops the king, the queen, well, around the same time on the heroes there, but either way, he was confident that the king was already going to funnel towards the center of the base. Now you'll notice something a little bit different about this variation. Micah decided to use his earthquake in the middle of the base rather than the entry point of the base, and then he just brought a few wall breakers. If you're confident in using wall breakers around the edge of the base, and you can navigate those wall breakers away from the splash damage, go ahead and try this out. Otherwise, you can just use the earthquake on the outside of the base. The reason we use that instead of the jump spell is because obviously it lasts longer, the earthquake, and number two is obviously you're not bringing poison spells in these attacks. Now, a lot of people might say, Ash, why not bring a poison spell in the jump spell instead of those earthquake spells? Well, I actually really like the earthquake spells at Town Hall 9. I've been using this attack a lot on my Vexthal account, my Town Hall 9 account, and for whatever reason, using that rage spell when you're engaging the enemy clan castle, that actually works really, really well to take down the clan castle troops, whether it's a hound, as you saw in the first attack, or a dragon, as you saw in this attack. The poison spell, you actually don't really need it. The queen still stays alive. Those golems just eat up the damage. If it's a dragon, it's not going to do a heck of a lot of damage. You have 3 golems here, so that's part of the advantage. So don't feel like you're in a rush. And part of the advantage with the new spell donations is you have room to actually carry the 3 spells on top of the 4 one-slot earthquakes. So that's something that wasn't as viable pre-update, because pre-update it would be 1 jump and 1 poison, for example. Now you can actually carry the 4 earthquakes, and you don't need the poison because you have the 3 golems and the rage spell. So on this third replay, it's going to be, again, just a similar type of attacks here. You can see these heroes on any of these replays, they're not max heroes, and you can do this, like I said in the beginning of the episode, you can do this with this type of strategy with low heroes. 10 and 10 works just fine. So you can see here, Ezeko just chose to do the same thing as we saw in the first replay. He opened up an area, and the reason I'm bringing you these 3 raids are A, it's the same troop composition, so you guys can get familiarity with different ways of using it, and B, there's slightly different variances on all of the attacks. On this one, Ezeko chose to go ahead and use the earthquake spells before he dropped anything else. Now, why did he do that? Well, it was pretty easy. He was able to anticipate the pathing on his heroes and the wizards beforehand. So, obviously, if you're confident that the funnel's going to work, then you don't need to necessarily delay the drop on the earthquake spell. That's really up to the individual. If they feel really confident that they have a good funnel going in, and they don't necessarily need that extra time, go ahead and drop the earthquake spells early. It's not going to ruin your raid. So you can see here again, like I said, Giants plays first, and then the Hogs after the Giants. Now, some of you might be asking, well, how do I know how many Hogs to drop where? Well, the idea here is it's a more of a surgical deployment nature, meaning that you have 3, 4, or 5 Hogs placed in one little area at a time, rather than a big clump of, say, 10 and 10 Hogs. Now, the reason you're doing that is it helps mitigate the damage done by giant bombs primarily, right? So even if a group of 4 or 5 Hogs run into a giant bomb or a double giant bomb and die, your raid is not destroyed, your raid is not ended, because you have the rest of the Hogs, and the reason you deploy them in a surgical nature like this is because it takes roughly 3 Hogs to take down a point defense and still stay alive and keep moving, so they merge together and you can use those heal spells. And that's basically the idea, guys. So go ahead and try Stoned GoHo, see how it works for you, and let me know in the comments below. Hope you guys enjoyed this guide, and I'm wishing you all 3 stars in the future. Take care, guys.
We don't play for fame, we don't play for cash. We just play for the glory and the clash of the ash.